Yo, welcome back to the Football Laff. Today, I've been so hyped for this episode because I know we're going to have some cracker stories that, man, you guys are going to love this one. I've seen a few of the stories. I've been avoiding them because the only story I've seen so far is this man, Diego, traveled across the border at what looked like to be 2 a.m. To go from United States to Canada. And that's just a glimpse as to what we're going to get into today. So I can't wait. Diego, how you going, bro?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on. This has been a long time coming. I'll get into this a little bit later, but you're the reason why I started documenting everything in the first place. So this is full circle for me. So this is incredible, but I'm good. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a Canadian footballer based in Vancouver, BC, and that's where I grew up. That's where I played most of my career. And now I'm here on this podcast with Sheldon.
Yeah. Hey, and you best know he's wearing the Australian jersey. Why do you even have the Australian jersey? Look at you pose with
it. Well, what a coincidence. You're Australian. I definitely did not wear this. I didn't know why coming into this. The reason why I have this is because my aunt is actually in Australia and she gave it to me. But
oh, damn. Yeah, I think that's a pretty old jersey, that one. That's from a fair few years ago.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's pretty clean.
Yeah,
I do say so myself. Yeah,
it's looking nice. So we always like to start the Football Laff. The whole concept of it is having a laugh about just everything, football laughs, outside laughs, but we really focus on people's laughs throughout their football career. Now, we start off with the laugh of the week. So every week, within the past week, whether it's been in your real life or on the football field, we like to hear it from you. Do you want to kick us off with your laugh of the week, or shall I go first?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better if you go first, but I'll give a bit of a warning. I think I was doing some when you said the prompt, I was like, okay, what's something that made me laugh? And I really struggled for some reason, trying to find something that made me laugh, and that made me question myself. Am I just like a cold person?
Yeah.
But one laugh of the week, I think we can all agree on is Barca fans. I think I just made like a lot of enemies. You know what? You should go first.
Dude, you can't be saying that.
I can't. Yeah, you're right. I can't.
Okay, so my laugh of the week is so Sam's been editing my videos, and the most recent one was where I go into a sort of into the room to get my MRI, and you have to put on the gown. And Sam's sitting next to me editing, and I look over and he just starts laughing like I've never seen him laugh before, just because I was in this gown. And I look at him and then I just start laughing because he's laughing. You know those times where someone else is laughing and you're like, it's not that funny, but you're laughing so much that you have to laugh along with them.
Those are the best.
Dude, and I'm like, it's not that funny, but and then he kept going back. I'm like, what are you doing? So that's my laugh of the week. To me, it wasn't that funny, but to Sam, he just could not stop laughing.
What were you wearing?
I'll actually show you the photo. This is what it looked like. So he was just editing, and then he sees this.
Oh yeah, no, I would love to. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'd definitely love to. That's quality. That's quality.
Yeah. So that's my laugh of the week.
Yeah, I was completely joking with the Barca thing. Obviously, that's devastating. I'm just starting off the podcast on a good note. Making a lot of friends. Laugh of the week for me. I kind of forget sometimes that I walk around my house in boxers. And so I got a new pair of cleats actually right here. They're pretty sweet, and I was just breaking them in, and I forget. Like I said, that I walk around in boxers, and to break them in, I walk around my house in the cleats, right? So I'm walking around, and my sister has a friend over, and I didn't realize that my sister had a friend over. So I'm just minding my business, earphones in, and I've got these cleats on, just in boxers. So I see the corner of my eye, there's my sister, and okay, whatever. And then I notice there's someone else, and I panic. And I'm running around the house trying to avoid, to get to my room to close the door to avoid eye contact with this stranger. But anyways, that was just an embarrassing moment.
That's
I think
just a sight, someone walking around the house in their boxers, in their cleats,
it's just another day in the life. This podcast, I think I'm just going to be exposing myself quite a bit. So
yeah, that's something else. So did you panic and like quickly take the boxes off to make it less awkward, or?
See, you know exactly. I can tell you've been in this situation before.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. So those are our laughs of the week. But you said you're in Canada right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
You recently got a haircut. You shouted the guy out on your Instagram. It's pretty dead compared to what you get at the Sheldon Tweedy Enterprise at my house.
Damn.
Dude, I just can't be bothered to do the back. Well, not that I can't be bothered, but I don't know
that's how
a lie.
to. Don't even say that.
I don't know how to, so I just shaved the side and then I just let the back go because, I mean, we're in lockdown right now. We got nothing to do. So,
for real?
Yeah, I think we're getting about 200 cases a day. So we're in like complete lockdown, and I'm now part of, one of my mates is his auntie or something works with New South Wales Health, and now I'm a contact tracer. So if someone has COVID and they go to, let's say, the mall, the movies, and the shops, then we have to call up everybody who's been to those locations. But then I got promoted to team leader, so now I manage all these agents who call different people, which is pretty cool. But
I mean, yeah,
it's much easier than calling people. So that's what I've been doing. But yeah, we're in lockdown, so I was just like, I don't really care that much. I'll just kind of, it looks fine front on, just don't turn around.
Which, yeah, I mean, it can be difficult to do. To be fair though, lockdowns I feel like are the best. Like if you don't get a bad, I'm not saying that was bad. That's an incredible, beautiful haircut. But if you're in lockdown and you're not doing something with your hair that's experimental, like what are you doing?
Exactly. I 100% agree. So you're up in Canada. Just give us we don't want to hear the full journey. If anyone wants to check out the journey, you can go to Diego's YouTube channel and he documents everything. But we just want a very brief idea of like where you've been, where you've at, like not too deep.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, it actually went to South America. This is actually undocumented. So this is a special insider scoop with South America. Yeah, for two trials, didn't work out, went back to Canada. So I was in South America for a year, back to Canada. Then 3 years later, went to Portugal, and then Malta, and back to Canada, and then to the States. And now I'm back in Canada.
Damn. So I'm sure, like, I honestly want to start because it's the most recent wacky, crazy story I've seen. Like these journeys that, I've documented, other people in the YouTube journey YouTube community document. We see some crazy stories. Like there's always those weird things where like, I've probably had so many that I just forget, especially every day. But I saw that I want to start with you crossing the border. Why are you crossing the United States border to go to Canada at like almost, I felt like you were trying to like cross the border illegally. I felt for you. I thought you were getting arrested. Okay.
Well, the thought crossed my mind, because there's like forest, so you can just walk through the forest, and that definitely was a thought to cross my mind. Like since I document everything, I kind of look for these opportunities like it's not true, but like I definitely make the most of these opportunities.
Oh, cool.
So crossing the border, walking across the border, I just didn't want to fly, and it's expensive. No, well, yeah, I'm terrified. Absolutely, yeah, terrified. That's it. End of story. No, but I mean, honestly, it was super smooth. It was super easy to cross the border walking. It just looked wild because it was at 2 a.m. and it was funny being the only one at the border. And they were like, "Why did you walk?" And I was like, "I felt like." I have video recording. I was like, "It's because I felt like it." And then they're like, "No, but like you have to give a proper reason." It's like I don't have the money to fly. That's what I said. But it's like partly true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you may as well just walk. Like, going through the forest. Aren't there like bears and stuff up there?
Oh, and cougars and police on horseback. So they even said like, don't try walking through the forest because you'll meet the RCMP, which is like the mounted police force. So I was like, yeah, maybe I won't do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Made for a good story. Imagine the thumbnail if I could even pull a thumbnail.
That's crazy. So I wanted to start off there. Where else do you want to take us? Give us another cracker.
I mean, so another border crossing story, coming from Portugal, or actually, okay, so what started with coming from Portugal to Malta, my visa had expired, and it's been expired for like, I want to say like a week at this time, and I had to make a decision. We can get that stories on my YouTube if you want to like look into that, whatever. I had to make a tough decision: go back to Canada or go to Malta. Since I was in Europe already, I was like, whatever, I'll take the risk, go to Malta, and hope that I impress the team in a trial so that they renew my visa. And so this was the most stressful, like 24 hours, because it's a 24-hour journey to get from Portugal to Malta, of my life. Knowing that my visa has expired, knowing that at any moment in time, the border security could come over to me and tell me, like, now you can't come to this country. You have to, we're going to give you a fine, a ban, and you got to go back to Canada. So here I am just in the plane, just like praying. Like I've never prayed more in my life. It was so stressful. In fact, when we landed, we had a layover in Belgium, and I was with a friend, a teammate. And as we're getting off the plane to get into the airport of Belgium, one of the border security did pull me over because they check everyone's visas to make sure that you're eligible to enter the country. And they're like, hold on a second, you don't have a visa. And I was like, I froze. I didn't know what to say. And my friend who has a European passport, he who already made it through, he noticed I got stopped and he's like, he's with me. And they were like, oh, really? Okay, that's fine. And I was like, wait, what?
Oh,
Wait, what? So they just let me go because I was with him. Like that.
dude,
I just get lucky. I just get lucky. I was born for this.
I had the same thing when I went to America and went to trial. Like whenever you get to border security, dude, you just freeze. You like prepare. You're like, okay, they're gonna ask me this, they're gonna ask me that, and then you get to border security, and they're like, oh, you're staying here for 3 months. I'm like, yeah, just visiting a friend, and they're like, oh, where's the friend? I'm like, oh, in Tulsa. Like, why are you going to Tulsa? Like, you don't want to go to like LA or New York. I'm like, he just lives there.
What do you mean? Tulsa's beautiful. Like,
yeah. So yeah, I feel like I always freeze, like, and in England as well. They say, "Why are you coming here?" I'm like, student. I'm like, "What are you studying?" I'm like, nothing really.
That should convince them. Yeah, I'll do that next time when they ask me what I'm doing. I'll be like, nothing really. They'll be like, oh yeah, enter our country. Yeah.
So yeah, border stories can be pretty crazy. Going from one country to another.
One more small one, slightly more drastic. Leaving Malta, I actually did get pulled into border security, and they're like, "You're not allowed to be here." And I was like, "I know, I'm so sorry. I'm about to miss my flight. Literally, my flight's leaving in like a few minutes." And they pull me over. They're like, "You can't get your flight until we sort this out." So they're taking their time, scanning my passport, everything. And I was like, "I'm actually about to miss my flight. Can we like hurry up, please?" And they're like, "Okay, you're banned from Europe for 3 years. Get on your flight." And I was like, oh, there goes my career. there goes my career.
Are you still banned?
Yeah.
So wait, okay. So what visa did you go over on? Just like a tourist?
I went over on a tourist, and it's not. I know this sounds dumb, right? Like I should have prepared to get a visa. The club in Portugal, right before the lockdown canceled the season, was gonna help me with a visa because they wanted me. It was the final trial, like literally days before they announced the lockdown. They were like, "We can help you with your visa," and then they got shut down. Same thing in Malta. The club, I've got documents and everything. So I actually reduced the ban from all of Europe or Schengen area, which is pretty much all the relevant areas in Europe. I'm sorry, to just 3 years of a ban from Malta.
Okay, that's not too bad. Like,
it's not bad, but I had like my best opportunity was in Malta. Like I could go back and play there, like because the team. So that hurt, but
yeah, dude. Yeah, that the virus is. I mean, obviously screwed so many people over, but that's one of the roughest stories I've heard. Where you're on a visa, and then right before, as a club or someone's like, "Yeah, we'll sort the visa." Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah, twice it happened exactly the same way. It's the worst.
So I'm sure traveling, like mate, when I traveled from country to country, I met some very out there and funny characters. What are some of the sort of best people that you've come across?
You know what? Because of the pandemic, I didn't come across too many people, just because not too many people were out. So I didn't actually get to experience the places that I went to their fullest, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, dude, when you like when I was traveling Spain, England, America, you meet like people and they just have so many funny stories and different personalities. I remember even just in Tulsa, the guy, I think he just debuted for Orlando City and he's 20 or 21 and he was on loan from the Orlando City. Mason, I think his name was. Dude, that guy just pretended he was Australian around me every time I spoke to him and would not stop swearing at me as if I was an Australian, like we do in Australia. And it was just hilarious.
That sounds like the most American thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, an American accent with an Australian accent, it
Yeah.
doesn't really work.
No.
So, what else can you hit us with? What other funny, crazy stories you got?
Well, okay, so when I was in Portugal, I had one trial lined up, and that was guaranteed. I had a few other potential trials that needed some more time to go through. So I was really just going all the way to Portugal for one trial, and dumb as like that's the dumbest thing ever, right? Like,
that.
Yeah, right. Okay, you done. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, well, I know that. So I went over. It didn't work out. The coach, for some reason, didn't like me. Who knows? I didn't like him either. I didn't tell him that, but it's okay. So there was a period of time for like almost a month where I wasn't training. There were no public fields.
Oh.
And me and my roommate were like literally, we were in Porto. So we went on Google Maps and we like were trying to find any patches of grass that resembled a field to then try to bus to. We ended up going to one, and it would look promising. It was like a 2-hour walk, like an hour bus ride, and then we get there, and it turns out it's a club. And so we're all the way there, the club, and I'm like, oh, of course it's a club. There's no public fields here. Like, what are we doing? And then I was like, you know what? I'll just ask for a trial. And so I went up to the owner of the club, and who for some reason was there. And I was like, I told him my situation, and he's like, sure, I'll talk to the coach. You can come back next week for training. And long story short, I actually ended up training with this club for like a month and a half, and they ended up like I fit in really well, but it just was wrong timing because transfer window and everything. But it was yeah. I mean, that's not necessarily like a funny story. It's just a fluke. Like,
yeah. Well, that one, I'm pretty sure I've seen that. Didn't it go viral on TikTok? That one?
Yeah, that was the one that kind of.
Yeah, because I have seen that, and dude, that's pretty crazy. Like you're just looking for a field.
Yeah.
I mean, in Spain, I had that problem where there are no fields. You compare it to Australia, and I'm sure America as well. Like I could walk. Actually, I could ride my scooter like a minute down the road. I got a park it. I could ride it 3 minutes, or then there's another one. 5 minutes, there's a beach. And it's like, I have everything here. Everything's so available. And then you go to Spain and you go, okay, there's no fields anywhere. The only thing we could find that was available to us was like an upstairs, very firm tennis court sort of area that we could use in a gym where you had to pay like, I think it was 40 euros a week. Like it was something ridiculous. I forget exactly what it was. Something so expensive. And then in England, I mean, in Crawley, I had really lucky fields where we had Astro, but most of the time you're stuck with these public fields that are just not mown at all. And so it's just nothing compared. And I'm so used to Australia where I go, okay, which park do I want to go to? Oh yeah, I'll just go down to the artificial turf with the goal. The net's probably going to be up, and there's going to be a fence behind it as well, so I can practice shooting, I can practice passing, dribbling, and I'm going to be completely set. So I'm a bit more used to that. And when you go overseas, it's like, oh, guess I'm training like inside or in the little patio area or something like that now.
I remember watching those vlogs in Crawley where you were struggling to find a place to train, and I think at one point you just on the pavement, like at a court or something like that.
Yeah, well, that was earlier on, like just outside the apartment, there was just a wall, and it was a dead end street, and I went, okay, well, I mean, this is just about all I got really, because there was nothing. Oh, there was actually a tiny park which had the worst surface right next to us, but apart from that, bro, you're not finding anything anywhere, and it's just crazy. It sucks, but Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I trained at a metro station just down the road in Portugal because that's all we had. So there'd be like hundreds of people coming in and out of the metro station. I'm just there passing the ball against the wall. It was fun times.
Yeah, it's pretty fun when you're just like grinding away and then people walk past. I mean, when I do it down at my local in Manly, I'm passing against the wall and sometimes drunk people will come across like when I was doing it at like 9 p.m. and they start talking with you and like, yeah, I'll take like, what's your name? I'm gonna write in my phone for when you get famous and stuff. You're like, dude, you're so drunk, just go home, please. So yeah, traveling across. What else have you got for us? What other funny? You've had some funny teammates in the past that you just crack you.
Trying to think. Nothing comes to mind in terms of. I mean, there's always like the jokers, but to be honest, I didn't understand a word they were saying when I was in Portugal.
But that's the funniest thing, bro. When I was in Spain, like these guys only spoke minimal English, and one guy just kept saying, I had this green and white towel, and the only word that this guy could say to me in English was "Vamos Betis," come on Betis, because he thought Real Betis, and that's all he said to me every time I saw him. He'd go Betis and like hug me, and I didn't know what to say to him. I went, yeah.
Yeah, what do you say to that? Yeah, like, yeah.
So yeah, I think like when people don't speak the same language, I've had some of the funniest things with that.
I wish I had a story. Like, I wish I did. I unfortunately, like, maybe I'm just a boring person. Maybe I just don't find anything funny. Yeah, I don't know, but nothing comes to mind for funny teammates. So I got one more story that I had written down here, and this one is probably the most iconic, at least for me. Yeah, so the final trial in Portugal. I remember this was the first trial that I had to wake up. Like, I had to wake up at like 6 a.m. All the other training sessions were like late at night. This one was early in the morning. This was a more like professional club. So I had to wake up early in the morning, traveling to a part of it's like a city just outside Porto. So I've never traveled out there. I'm very unfamiliar with the transit system. And keep in mind, classic me, for some reason, I like to make my life harder, and I didn't pay for the extra zones. So taking the transit on the bus, and for some reason in Portugal, every time you got the security coming on checking people's cards. And I was like, shit, what do I do? That's why I pretended to be asleep, and they tap me. They tap me, and they're like, they scan my card, and they were like, yeah, you're not allowed to be on this bus. And I was like, oh, I'm not from here. Like, I don't know what I'm really. And so they actually kicked me off. They're like, you have to get off at the next stop. And I was like, shit. I don't know how I'm gonna get to training. I had to be at training in like 20 minutes, and I was like 40 minutes away. So I was screwed. And considering this is my first impression with a club, this is not going great. So I frantically called an Uber. It was like so expensive, and anyways, it was really painful. So I took the Uber there. He was driving super slow. I didn't know how to tell him. I was like, faster, like, please.
Rapido.
Yeah, like, please, like, go fast. And so anyways, I made it there like just barely on time. There was a guy outside the stadium like who checks the temperature, and the one who set up the trial is like my like agent / like friend. So he's not officially my agent, but he's helped me get all these connections. And he didn't really give me too many details. That's like, okay, he's just like, go to the stadium and they know you're coming. And I was like, all right. So I'm gonna go to the stadium, and the guy there checking the temperatures, all the players are there, and I'm just like, I'm here for a trial, and they're like, we're not expecting anyone. I was like, oh shit. And first of all, they don't speak that good English, so I'm like, no, I'm here. Like, I say my agent's name, and they're like, no, we don't know who that is. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. And I was like, please, can I just go in and talk to like the coach or whatever? I'm sure there's something. So he checks my temperature, and I've been running there. So I got off the Uber and I've been running there. So I'm like, yeah. So he checks my temperature, and it's positive for like COVID, right? And not like the test, right? But they check.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you can't come in because it's. And I was like, what? This is like everything's going wrong today, and I was like so stressed. And this is like not a great way to start off a trial, considering it's stressful as is. Anyways, long story short, I get into the club. I'm ready. I'm getting ready for training. They give me the kit and everything. And turns out there's no training that day because all the players are on strike.
Oh.
This is where I make the mistake. I'm vlogging the whole thing, right? And I mentioned that the players are on strike. Now, this is if anyone watching this ends up doing a similar thing, don't give personal details of the club and post it publicly, especially when you're on trial. So New Year comes around. I've been training with this team for like almost a month now. It's going really well. And New Year comes around and I make a TikTok. And I guess the TikTok goes kind of viral. And somehow the owner of the club sees it. So I go in for training. And before training, the coach is like, don't put your stuff on to train. You're not training today. And I was like, what? I was like, what? Why? And he's like, the owner wants to talk to you. And I was like, shit. And I'm like, is something wrong? And he's like, I don't know, but he wants to talk to you. And they have a restaurant right outside the club, right? And you know how it's like you got the stadium, you got the restaurant.
Yeah.
So go up to the restaurant, walking up there, I'm like, I don't even know what to expect. And there's like an old guy sitting down there, like mafia style, like looking at me. I sit down. Yeah, like I was shitting my pants. I don't know. This is for me. This was the craziest moment of the entire trip. Sitting down in front of him, and this is the owner of the club, and I'm like, "Hi," and he's like, "Do you know why you're here?" And I was like, "No, really, I've got really no idea." He spoke a little bit of English, which is clutch.
Yeah.
Long story short, he says that I was celebrating New Year's. It was 3 a.m. and my social media management team calls me and says there's a kid who's training with your club talking about your club in a negative way. And I was like, I talked about your club in a negative way. I completely forgot about the strike thing. And I think I also said in that same vlog, because I needed to use the washroom, I was like, yeah, their toilets here don't work. And that was what upset him. It was the strike and me saying the toilets didn't work because apparently it looks bad on the club. So he, the memory from that conversation was him saying, "Do you want to be a footballer or do you want to make movies?" And I was like,
bro, I've had that so many times. It's like, bro, just because I'm documenting my journey is not because I'm trying to become a YouTube star over a footballer. Like, let's be realistic here, understand. And that's just their fallback because they don't understand what like it actually does and the power it has. But if they can, I think eventually clubs will start to realize. I mean, Sam and I were looking the other day and we were looking at transfer market because we have another segment on a different show about player prices and stuff. And I think Matt Sheldon right now is 150,000 euros or something. And which could be true, couldn't be true. Like, I don't know if anyone's paying 150K, but the value that Matt Sheldon can bring to a club through social media is a value that's added on top of his football ability. So not only is this player going to grow, be a great player for your club, but he's also going to help grow your social media page, your following. I mean, I would never have known who Tulsa FC was if Matt wasn't there. And people have bought Matt Sheldon jerseys because Matt Sheldon's there. So it's something that I think over the next few years will change. And I think right now, because social media is still new to these 60, 70-year-old owners, they just don't understand how much value it could actually bring. So look, I'm sure for you, and I disagree with what you did because there's no way I would ever say something like that. But I'd be so scared what they would say. But dude, you've learned the lesson to, like you said, you learn the lesson once you do it. I think actually I've said I've said and done so many things wrong throughout my journey, and you just learn a lesson, and that's the most valuable thing that you take away from each thing. Like, you make a mistake. I made so many mistakes about saying things about clubs or people, and you kind of just take away like, yeah, look, that was a mistake. I'm learning from it. Next time I go to the club or next time you go to a club, I always keep my clubs very secretive because I don't want anyone to really know until I'm there. So that's my take. You agree?
I fully agree.
Okay, so I think that's a lot of stories for us that we got through. And I think there's going to be more to come for you throughout the journey. And bro, the football world, the football jack. How old are you now? Like 20, 21?
Yeah, just turned 20. Yeah.
Damn, it's so young. When did I start filming? I think I was 19, 20, about the same age as you.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And what made you start vlogging? Like you said earlier that I influenced you a little bit, but what made you kind of take that step to start filming?
I mean, really, it was you. Like I just remember it being so inspiring seeing what you were doing, and I also wanted to follow a similar path because I knew what it did for me. I thought if I started documenting, what could it do for others? And yeah, I don't know, like there were like 2 years where I vlogged and didn't post a single video. So I had 2 years of practice just because I was too like insecure.
Wow.
And I didn't. Yeah. So yeah. I've only really started doing this seriously for like the past year.
Yeah. I think just putting yourself out there, it's such good practice. I mean, it gives you just new skills. Okay, so we had some internet issues there, but we're going to finish up the podcast with the last segment. It's changed up a little bit. It is still called Guess the Player, but how we're going to do it is we have 4 players here, right? And there's 5 clues for each player. Now, if you guess after 1, you get 4 points if you get it correct. Now, but if you guess, you lose 2 points off your end score for that player. So let's just say I give you the first clue and then you guess and you're wrong. You take 2 points off your final score. So if you ended up finally getting the player and you get 1 point, you would end up with -1 point for that player. Make sense? But if you manage to guess, the maximum points you can get on this is 16, 4 times 4. So the first one is kind of like sometimes a little bit out there. So you can try to guess it, but it's risky. It's a risky game. So at any point you can be like, okay, next clue, or you can try and have a guess. And if you don't guess it, then you're going to be losing points. Make sense?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So just make sure you're either guessing or you say next clue. So
okay.
The first player, I was born in 1998.
Next clue.
He's French.
Next clue.
I had 4 appearances and 2 assists in the Euros.
I suck. I'm terrible. Next clue.
I have a 4-year contract with my current club and I'm kitted out by Nike. It's not meant to be easy.
Oh my god. How many clues are there again?
You got 1 more clue after this.
I'm just gonna have like 0 points. I'm terrible. 4 appearances, 2 assists.
4 appearances, 2 assists in the Euros. And he has a 4-year contract with his current club, kitted out by Nike. He's French, born in 1998. Do you want your last clue or are you going to have a guess?
Give me the last clue. This is embarrassing.
In his recent season, he had 31 games, 27 goals, and 7 assists.
Is it Mbappe?
Yes.
See, I
was
didn't.
Be worried if you didn't get that.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say that as soon as you said he was kitted out by Nike. I didn't know that he was born in 1998. I thought he was a little bit younger than that.
Yeah. Well, that's what it says. So you got 1 point so far. Nice. I mean, it's going to be hard to get more than 16. Okay, next one. I'm 39 years old. That's the first clue.
Next clue.
My transfer value peaked in 2009 whilst at Barcelona.
Who's 30? Is it Iniesta?
No. Minus 2 points off the next one. The next clue. I've played in the MLS. Dude, it's the pressure that gets to you.
Barca went to the MLS. Who?
I can give you one more clue, and then if you get that right. Oh.
Ibra.
Yes. No, that was clutch. So what do you got there? You got 1, so 4 points, 3 points, minus 2. Oh, you ended on 0 points for that one. Wait, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. No. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, okay. So last one, you got Mbappe after the recent season, right?
Yeah, I got 1 point in the last one, I think.
Yeah, 1 point in the last one. Okay, yeah. So then you went 5, 4, 3. Yeah, so you got 1 point in this one as well.
Killing it.
2 points. Next one. I just won the Copa America. Is he gonna go for a stab in the dark?
I'm gonna get it on the next one. Give me the next clue.
I featured in 6 games and received 1 yellow card in the Copa America. That's a rough clue.
Did you come up with
the next one might help.
Yeah, give me the next one.
I'm 6'4" and I'm right-footed.
A 6'4" South American. Dude, what? Who the hell? Okay, Argentina. 6'4" in Argentina.
These are tough.
Oh, what's his name though?
Oh no.
What's the keeper's name?
I can't tell you.
Well, I think I'm screwed for this one. I don't know his name.
But are you gonna guess the keeper?
Yeah.
Emiliano Martinez.
Is that right?
Yes. I'll give it to you. Because I can't expect you to know every name. That's pretty good off 3 clues. So that gives you 3 points. So you're on 5 points.
Oh, let's go.
Bad. Okay, last one. This is rough. I feel bad. I'm a 7 times French league winner.
So it has to be a PSG player. So it has to be 7 times. And you already did Ibra for one of them. So it's not going to be him. You know what? Next clue. Yeah.
I feel bad for this. 8 times French Super Cup winner.
Wow, that really helped.
Nothing.
That really helped narrow it down. Yeah, no, next clue, man.
I'm 5'4".
Verratti?
Yes. That is based. That was clutch. So you ended on 8 points, which is pretty good. I would be happy with 8.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
Why? How'd you get Verratti? There's not many other people who are that short. Hey,
5'4" is pretty short.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm 6'5", so it's okay. I'd hate to be 5'4".
Wait, you're 6'5"?
Yeah. You idiot.
I didn't know that.
I'm not 6'5".
Oh, you're not 6'5"?
No way.
I knew that.
It's just my little trick card that I play every time someone asks how tall are you on Instagram. In the question, I just go 6'5". Next question.
Why would I believe that? I know you're a midfielder. You're a midfielder.
Dude. I don't even look 6'5".
No. I think that game just really messed with my head.
Yeah, that we have another show where the guy has to like guess the player, so he goes really quick. So he doesn't get clues except yes or no. So he'll say playing or retired in the EPL, yes or no. And so I have to, right. And so that one like fries your brain because you're like trying to think so quickly. And this is partly that like all your critical thinking just kind of goes. You're like, what? Who?
That was really fun, I must say. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I like it. All right, well, that's going to wrap up the podcast. Diego, anything you want to say to the people?
If you want to continue following along with these crazy stories that I've not so briefly told on this podcast, you can find me anywhere on social media. I document primarily on YouTube at Diegotgl. So that's Diegotgl, all one word. But yeah, thank you for having me on. That was really enjoyable.
Yeah, like I said, that it's just the beginning for your crazy stories. There's going to be so many more. So if you guys love the crazy stories, make sure you check out Diego. Now I can finally start to look again and see these crazy stories because I wanted to keep this on the like my first time hearing it, which is really cool.
I think me telling the stories here versus actually seeing them real time in the vlogs is a different experience. I'm not great at storytelling. I'm great at showing what's happening in the moment. So
I can agree. So if you want to check out the YouTube for Diego, that'll all be in the description. Anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next time.